Hi there, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Catherine. If you're wondering, her sleeves haven't changed. It's still the same day as yesterday, but I've made a few decisions for the inside of Grungy Edith's inside cover. And I got started on it, and I thought, Catherine, turn on your camera, and you know, everyone can join in and watch it either be a success or a failure. So this little doily won the front pocket cover contest in my mind. It was between this one and this one. I do believe I'll still try and put that somewhere. And this one. And this one won, partly because it's already yellowed, and when I turn it over that yellow side to do the little Nancy flip over, I like the contrast between the aged yellowed and the lighter color there. I like it. I did go ahead and adhere the paper to file folder, so it's nice and strong because I am going to sew it, and so it's going to get sewn in place. I found all that lace. Remember I told you about this lace yesterday, and I was going on and on about how I had to use the seam ripper and take it off. It had torn fabric all along the edge for all of that. Like, you can see all the threads from where I didn't I just left the threads. And so I think what I'm going to do is glue it in place, and then I'm going to be sewing all around the edge, and I'm going to sew the little pocket onto here. I am purposefully going to hang, there we go, hang this over the edge. When I close the cover, you'll see it looks cool. It's my kind of grunge. It makes it look quite shabby chic, and makes me happy. So that is the plan, Stan. And so let's get going. I'm not sure. Whenever possible, I try to match up the pattern on the laces, on the ends of the lace, pardon me. And I know I probably shouldn't be so fussy. The whole point of a junk journal is, I think, sort of casual, careless, you know, but sometimes the fuss budget in me comes out. Not always. Sometimes I can keep her under control, but sometimes the fuss budget comes out, and I have to, there's some things I just have to do. So I have already inked the edges because I trimmed them freshly raw and glowing and driving me crazy. So I just used coffee. This one side was already yellowed from age, so I matched up these three sides, and coffee seemed to do the trick. I think I certainly can't tell. I don't know if it'll look different with the camera, but certainly to my eye, I think it's a good match. So the next thing we're going to do is, I think I am going to go ahead and use 3-in-1. And just do a very, very thin A little bit of 3-in-1 so it dries quickly. But I'm going to count on the sewing to do most of the holding down. Now there was a correct side to this. Let me, sorry if I'm off camera, but I need to see what the correct side is. There we go. Okay. I did go out. I did get groceries. Kirby survived. She's still dealing with a bit of separation anxiety. The poor little thing. She's had so many surgeries and illnesses, and I have as well in the past year, that it has given her the wrong impression that she and I are joined at the hip. We are not. And it seems like every time I finally get her comfortable with being okay, that she's a big grown-up girl and she can be on her own for an hour or two, and that the world will not come crashing to an end, because there's no convincing her otherwise. And we just seem to keep starting over with this poor little lady with her separation anxiety. We always start back over again with half hour at a time. Usually me sitting on the porch and listening for her and settling her before she can get herself too worked up, and then leaving again and letting her go a little bit longer, not unlike helping a baby learn to sleep through the night. So, she did okay. Plus, I have a baby monitor, so I can keep an eye on her when I'm at the grocery store. I can even talk to her. What a world we've come to. When I think of when I was raising my children, like, if we were down in the basement watching TV and the baby was asleep up on the second floor, that baby had to work up a good cry before we'd sort of go, oh, do you think that's the baby crying? And nowadays, oh my goodness, those parents, they're carrying around the walkie-talkies in their pocket and they can hear if the baby toots. And I think it's good and sometimes not so good. It's good, especially if you have a child with a health problem, children with sleep apnea and such. Babies can have apnea, and then absolutely. But on the other hand, I don't know, generations of us grew up without sleep monitors. Our babies had to work up a big whale before they got tended to. Now, what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to give this a little bit of glue, and I'm going to also hand stitch it down a bit and try and camouflage the stitching into the doily so you don't necessarily know. Not too much glue, but enough to hold it before I stitch it. And I really gave it a good ironing so that is as flat, I believe, as I can get it without putting it into Jessie the Pressy. I'm tea dyeing the French Beatrix Potter book today, so I'm really excited how that's going to turn out. There, that's nice. I'm going to find my I'm going to go get my sewing tin. I think I'll just grab my signature sewing tin. I have a sewing tin for signatures, and I also do still have my traditional sewing basket that most ladies have a sewing basket. I'm just over here. I should have an ivory thread in here. That's handy. Yeah, that will do. This one will do, and it's got a needle in it, so there, we're set. I love this tin. I found it, of course, at a thrift store. I wonder if it's still got the price tag on it. No, it doesn't. But it looks like, it says on it, it was mini lotus seed paste mooncake. I don't know. It's just, look how pretty that is. I love square tins. Square tins are my favorite. Easier to store than the round ones. Easier to stack on shelves. All right, maybe I'll be able to make do with just the thread that's already in it. Come on. I got glue on the end of my finger. There we go. Let go. I only want a single thread because I want to hide it. Now, I am not a professional seamstress, so I'm going to sneak this into here. I wish I'd done it before I glued it down. Oh well, I think we still can. There we go. That little knot is gone. And I'm just going to bring this over here. And hopefully only we will be any the wiser. And I'm just going to just go here and there, tacking it down. I think I will still put a pin on it so that it gives the illusion that the pin is holding it down. If you can hear a humming in the background, our neighbors are putting in a new deck. So there's equipment going. It looks like it's going to, I wonder if I can just go in and out, because that would make my life easier. I can. It's going to be quite an ordeal putting this deck in for them because they're on a hill. They're up high. And so I'm quite sure this deck is going to have to be built up onto posts. You know what I mean? Because it's as if they're putting the deck on the second floor. There you go. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I'm really excited about this. By the time you're watching this, I will have watched His Majesty's coronation. Oh my. Although Canada is part of the Commonwealth, you know, we do have, for now, we still have the Queen on our money and on many of our stamps. We also do have other people now on our money, famous historical Canadians. And, so, you know, money and stamps, they're incorporating other things, which is nice. I'm mostly I'm going to watch, but mostly for the historical significance of it, to be able to say that you've seen a coronation in your lifetime, especially as a Canadian. I mean, I grew up with Queen Elizabeth always on the walls in all the classrooms that I grew up with. Queen Elizabeth was on the wall, not our Prime Minister. And especially because in Canada, the Prime Minister can change at any given time, unlike the US, where it's every 4 years you could possibly have a new president. We don't have necessarily that kind of a time slot for when our elections are. They can suddenly be called. So the Queen was just always up on the wall, and usually we would start our day as little students. I can't believe it now, because I just went to our local public school, but we would start our day with at 9 o'clock. We would stand up beside our desk and sing, oh, I want that closer. What am I doing? I just want tiny stitch there. Sing O Canada, and we would sing God Save the Queen. So I'm still getting used to hearing them singing God Save the King. That's new to me. And then we would say the Lord's Prayer, which is not done anymore, out of respect for the diversity that is now Canada, which I love. And sometimes, for some grades, we would also recite the 23rd Psalm, which again, just isn't done anymore because it's public school. The Christian schools will do it, but they're private, and you pay tuition to go to those, whereas public school comes out of tax dollars. There, that piece of thread worked out. We were even frugal with our thread. There, that'll hold that down nicely. All right, I'm going to take this thread to the back and just tie a little knot. There we go. Back here. So, no laughing at my sewing skills. I sew well enough that I can pull together a dress, thank goodness, because I got so huge with all my pregnancies that I had to sew my own clothing. The stores didn't make them big enough for how big my babies got. My twins were almost 7 pounds each, so that's 14 pounds of baby. And then the subsequent children that I had decided, oh, it's so nice and roomy in here, let's just make use of this room. And my third child, because the twins were first, my third child was 11 pounds, 8.5 ounces. Cesarean section, yes. I tried to get him out, and no, wasn't happening. Fourth child, she made her entrance much easier and quicker, and she was a natural birth after a cesarean, which is quite, in some areas, quite controversial. Some doctors agree with it, some do not. I found one who agreed with it because I knew the difference. I had my twins naturally, and I knew the difference in the recovery time between a cesarean and a vaginal birth. And if I didn't have to have another cesarean, I sure didn't want one. And boy, she went way overdue, 15 days overdue, because I was not going to let them induce me. And when she finally decided to arrive, oh my goodness, I think I got to the hospital with 5 minutes to go. I signed my admittance papers and my release papers at the same time and left and went home, took her home, and we both had a shower and a bath at home. It was really nice. And she was easy as pie, thank goodness, because I had 2 4-year-olds and a 2-year-old at home at the time. So I had 4 under the age of 4. Boy, oh boy. But in a way, it's nice to get all that done with all at once. But then when number 5 came along, he was a happy surprise. And I hoped again to be able to have another natural birth. But, and I tried. And he was 12 pounds, 3 ounces. And I tried, and that child did not fit. So obviously, my little Allison, 9 pounds, 9 ounces, was somewhere in there was my limit. Because she, ouch, came, no problem. But 12 pounds, 3 ounces, nope, no way, no how. He was, I'm going to use my pencil. He wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, I want a little bit hanging out. So let's see. So I'm going to do a little bit of three-in-one. Oh, rats. And then I will still be sewing it down. So that's going to hang out over the edge. How did I end up on giving birth? Oh my goodness, I wander off topic. You come here for junk journaling and you start hearing about how I launched 5 children into the world. I apologize. But I was a lucky mommy. They arrived healthy and they were all good kids. Just going to give that a little bit there. Not too much. Well, I hope I'm doing it justice. You let me know, Nancy. Actually, no, don't. Just lie and tell me it's wonderful. But I bet you're yelling at your screen right now. Let go. So let me show you what it's going to look like when it's closed. I'm just as excited about what it's going to look like when it's closed as when it is open. So there it is, open. And then there it will be closed. See what I mean? That, oh, that helps, doesn't it? Oh, let me get that out from behind so you can see better. See, there's all this sort of off-white up there, and then there's little right there. I like it. And then there's the off-white up here with the cheesecloth, and Catherine's a happy girl. So I'm going to wait a moment and let that 3-in-1 dry because my sewing machine and needle do not like sewing through wet 3-in-1. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do before I go do it. I am going to start probably here, and I'm going to stitch there, go along, go up, and then around, 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 and then back. I'm thinking when I'm stitching through the all right, I was just going to use gold thread for the whole thing. And now I'm thinking I want to use ivory colored thread. Well, I guess you'll be surprised when I come back. So I'm going to pause, let this finish drying, go make my executive thread color decision, and then we'll all see together, and hopefully you'll like it. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! I did ivory. So I think you can see it all around the edge there. So I will be pulling the threads through to the back. There's enough threads hanging out here. I'm going to pull these through to the back and trim them. And then I will be gluing this down, but I've come to my 30 minutes and you've seen me glue down. You've seen me glue down and papers before, so it's not going to be any different. I'm going to use 3-in-1 and I'm going to clamp them and it's and we're all going to be happy. Yay! Thanks for joining me today. And we actually got something done. It was a miracle. It was a miracle. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will talk soon at some point in the upcoming week. Take care. Bye. Okay, so I couldn't leave you hanging. I got it done, and that's not fair. You watch for 25 minutes and then I don't show you the finished product. So let's take a look, shall we? I'm so happy with it. First of all, I love this. I love that it's hanging off the edge. So I did glue it in, but I had some fun. Look at this fun. Let's go down a little bit. Look at the fun. So I have these, I found these. I was looking for some little dangles to put on this rusty safety pin. And it reminds me I should move the safety pin down a bit lower. It would be lower. This is glued down, but we want to give the illusion that the safety pin is holding it down. So, and I glued it down and ironed it because I didn't want it to be overly bulky when it's closed. So, and this isn't necessarily going to stay there. I just don't like empty pockets. So for the time being, it's in there. Anyhow, so I put this little key here. This is the leftover ribbon. That's the tiny little bit that was left over from the side trim on the red book. So they're sharing some things, more than just the text block. They're sharing ribbons, they're sharing things. And when I was looking for this little charm to also hang off the safety pin, I found this little, it's like a badge. It's like it was off of a brownie belt or a brownie sash. Let me find, and there were two. And for some reason, I hadn't put them in with my fabricy little odds and sods and stuff. They were in with all my little jewelry doodads. And so it was meant to be that there's two of them, E for Edith. So one for in Grungy Edith and one for in the slightly tidier Edith. So I'm happy about that. You know what, let's move this while I'm here. So it is a different day, in case you're thinking her bracelet has changed. It is a different day. So let's move this down just a little bit. So I'm going to put that first. Oh, this I wanted to show you. Come on, come on, come on. Do you see the little engraving in it? I found a whole necklace with all of these hanging on it. So I have like about 20 of these that were all on this chain of these exact things. And I love them because they remind me of the engravings in the rocks of the burial mounds that we saw over in Ireland. There are great burial mounds. We visited the ones that are in Brunaboyne, which are, I guess, the most famous one. These burial mounds built by the ancient people that were in Ireland are older than the pyramids. Just incredible. And the stones, these massive stones that they figured out by doing mineral analysis, came from miles away from where they ended up. So how these people got the stones moved, who knows? There, that's better. That feels more like where a pin should be in order to hold down the fold. Anyhow, these massive stones that are all around the walls of these burial mounds, look them up. They're absolutely incredible. So proud of my ancestors. And they've got engravings like that into the stone. And so I was just thrilled to find this necklace with all these little charms, and I've got lots of them. So I had to put one into Green Edith. And then I did a little bit of work. Let's come back again. There we go. I did a little bit of work. These little field mice are still behind here. They're not going to stay, but they're still there, visiting the squirrel. Because I wanted, this is very simple, similar to how simple the red one is. So I wanted the inside to be sort of a ta-da moment, not overly ta-da, but a bit of a ta-da. So I just put that there for now. I told you, I can't handle empty pockets. So this is the page with, of course, the picture of Edith at her easel. And then this little piece is an offcut from a page I used. It was on the other side, but I managed to save just this one little bit, but it was so colorful I couldn't not use it. And this also is the paper, same paper that I used to Frankenstein, the other page that I chomped to bits in the red book. So I just tore it lengthwise and inked it up and tore this roughly around the edge and inked that. And then I just did a little stamping at the top. But I did all of this so that it is underneath, and it's sort of like a surprise when you turn the page open. And then there's room for whatever it is that the new owner wants to put in here, collaging or you know, their first journal entry, whatever it'll be. This is just simply, I think I mentioned it when I was explaining about here. This was on the other side of this page that I used to make this pocket. On the other side, when I cut it, because of course the page was this wide, it was out of the text block from this green book. That was left over, and I saved it and put a backing on it. So I guess I could put it in here now. That would look nice in behind the acetate. Come on, acetate. Out you go. That looks nice. All right, we'll leave you there for now. And so then that, I like the way that turned out. I'm really, really happy. And then, of course, here is the actual front page from this green book. And I did not use the actual front page from the red book, mostly because it wasn't, first of all, it wasn't pretty, and second of all, I didn't enjoy the book. So I'm so happy that now this book is going to be a wonderful book, celebrating a woman instead of what this original author had to say. But so that's why the first page had the copyright date on the back of the first page. So that's why I put that here, and it also is a tiny tuck spot. So, and then like I said, this one, yes, it looks quite simple when you open it, but then there's sort of, oh, well, here we go. We're going to the Edwardian Lady. So there we go. The red and green are ready. I think what my approach will be now is I am going to put both naked books aside, and I'm going to start working on ephemera, not today, but I'm going to start working on ephemera. I've taken apart the book and I've chosen the pages that I will use. I think there's even more now. Now that I've ripped apart the book and looked through it, I think there's too much for even 2 books. So I'm going to choose what I want to use, what's going to go into both, and try and be fair and enjoy doing that. So there we go. So I came back, real quick little unexpected pop in at the end. You thought I was gone, and I came back like a bad smell. And there we go. We got a little key and a little charm, and a little green ribbon, and the letter E here. Who knows what will go in the pocket. Yeah. So, thanks. I'll say it again, even though you just heard it 5 minutes ago, but thanks for joining me today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and probably a great couple of days. I'll probably check in maybe around Wednesday or Thursday, and just really focus on getting to work on some ephemera, and maybe try and post some photos over on Instagram. I'm really slacking off on my Instagram, and I used to enjoy it so much, and I want to re-fall in love with posting photos on Instagram. So that's my goal this week, is re-fall in love with Instagram. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.